Hey, this is Jonah Halper, CEO of ALTRUICITY. Last week we were talking about how to recruit for your parlor meeting or event to make it a success. This week I want to talk about defining success. How do you know if your parlor meeting or event is successful? And obviously that's subjective to every organization, but in kind of broad strokes, obviously if your event is a fundraising event, your goal is to have success at your fundraising. If you don't raise money at the event, then obviously your event is not successful. But as far as a lot of events which are outreach and engagement driven, the idea is to invite people in to learn about your organization and then get them involved in whatever you're doing and to contribute in some way or form, whether it's time or money. That's a lot harder to determine whether your event is successful. And if you're a nonprofit person and you're doing events, you will always talk about event follow-up. Am I doing good follow-up to engage them after they've come and got their feet wet at an event? So today we're going to talk about what is effective as far as event follow-up, and hopefully we can carry this conversation online as well. What I want to talk about today is obviously the fact that you can't do a one-size-fits-all. If you have 300 people who come to your event and you want to get them involved afterwards, you can't just send out a mass email and say, hey, we want you involved, and expect any kind of return and some kind of conversion into donors or members or whatever it is. You need to be specific. You need to know, A, what the message is for what person, and B, you need to have permission to follow up with them. And what that means is, just because they came to your event, it doesn't mean that they're necessarily interested in your organization. It's easy to get lost, especially if you are an insider, into the idea that, oh, everyone loves what you're doing. But ultimately, they came because either their friends said to them, would you please come? Or they came because the event itself, the attraction, the entertainment, the whatever the hook was, that was appealing to them. But 9 out of 10 times they're not coming because they want to open up their wallet and give to you. So ultimately, the follow-up that you do needs to be with their permission. So let me give you an example, kind of a case study, and then you can use that idea that when you're doing your next events, use that as a lens to say, how are we getting permission from the attendees to engage them further after the event? So I know a guy who runs a volunteer organization, and he would do these big parties, DJ, nightclub, whatever it is, and they were very well attended. But the conversion from those people from there to become volunteers at the soup kitchens or the toy drive or the children's hospital was not so great, and he wasn't getting the conversion that he was hoping into volunteers. So what he did is instead of charging regular admission, he said, if you want to come to this party, you need to either donate a toy to our toy drive, or donate a can of food to our food drive. And what happened was, when people donated that, and obviously it helped with attendance because people weren't paying money to come to the event, they were just buying, they were buying a toy or some canned food. What happened was, after the event, he followed up with everybody who donated a toy and said, would you like to take that toy with the other people who donated the toy to the children's hospital and volunteer at the children's hospital? And then the same thing with the food people. The people who donated cans of food, he said to them, would you take the can of food that you donated along with everybody else who donated cans of food and bring it to the soup kitchen and volunteer at that soup kitchen? And what he effectively did was got permission to contact them regarding what they did. You donated a toy, I would like to continue that and do it at the hospital and volunteer at the hospital. And that was expected. The person who got it didn't feel like it was spam because it was relevant to them. It was talking about their toy, what they gave to come to the event, and now it was following through to the event. So this is a great example of a way to take people who come to an event and translate them into volunteers or donors at your organization. You need to think about what you can do to gain their permission to communicate with them after the event. Just because they came to your event, it doesn't mean that they love what you do. You need to find a way to leverage, if it's information you can gather from the audience at the event, and then use that to contact them afterwards. If they're taking a survey and they say they're interested in the environment, right, or a certain aspect of the environment, if you're an environmental organization, and then to communicate that with those participants after the event and say, hey, I know you're interested in X. Would you be interested in getting involved in Y? And if you tailor that message for the different types of responses people gave from your event, you will find you'll get a lot higher conversion into what you're trying to accomplish than to just use a regular blanket email or blanket direct mail to say, hey, you came to the event, we want you to get involved. I hope this is helpful. You can carry the conversation on jonahhalper.com in the media section. There is a place where you can talk more about this and what you do for your organization to gain permission and engage them in proper event follow-up. But I hope this is the start of a great conversation. Thanks. Bye.